praises be to God,
Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande paramananda madhavam. I worship Madhava, who is of the nature of supreme bliss, by whose grace the dumb become eloquent and the lame can scale mountains. Shri Ramakrishna says that the breeze of grace is constantly blowing. Unfurl your sails and catch the wind. You will make rapid progress towards the goal. He says further, lazy sailors on the sea of life do not take advantage of it, but the active and the strong always keep the sails of their minds unfurled to catch the favorable wind and reach their destination. Even St. Francis de Sales has used the same analogy of divine grace likened to a breeze blowing constantly. Concept of grace, it's so vast. I mean, if you look at it from the theological standpoint, you'll come away confused. Your theologians always like to control people to their doctrines. While divine grace is divine grace. It's free for everybody. So we have all religions, every religion, organized or non-organized, with their prayers, with their rituals, with their eschatology, with everything, is centered on grace. Everything. In fact, the whole religion stands on grace. Pull grace out, and there's no religion. This is the centrality of grace in religions. It is also the centrality of lives, and that's what the subject today is, the role of grace in human lives. So for these central themes, and since it's a very vast topic, I will pick up just a few of the salient points regarding grace and which affects our lives and how it can be transformed. So grace is free. Grace is everywhere. And that includes for the believers and the non-believers as well. Atheists, agnostics also receive grace. We shouldn't be selfish about grace. Only our people will be getting that grace. And that gracious selfishness has put religions against each other for so long. Open it up for everybody. Because grace is unconditional. There cannot be any condition. And that was what Girish Ghosh, the famous disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, used to adamantly proclaim. Grace, grace, grace. Swami Premananda, Baburam Maharaj also, when speaking of the Holy Mother, he used to always say, Kripa, 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 grace, grace, grace. Nothing but grace. So this grace is for everyone. But the religious people have one advantage. Religious or the sensitive people, they can catch this grace in their lives. Not when it's happening. In retrospect, we see, oh my God, yes, that has to be grace. So if we study our lives, we see grace has been a major component of our existence here. So when we are discussing this, what is the role of grace in human life? If we understand that, you will understand the secret of existence, the secret of our lives. It sounds so easy. Yeah, we understand grace. Yeah, if you understand grace, you will understand your life. So from the original Greek word charis, which meant, can say, destiny, or you can say faith, or favors given, received, the tendency to give and the tendency to receive also was called grace. From that, as usual, it was picked up. It's a very ancient concept. In India, we had these, a sect of extreme ascetics called Ajivikas. They said that niyati is called cosmic laws. It operates on every level and everything is bound by fate, bound, it's destined. There is no freedom. And like these we can say, marathoners, they used to perform extreme austerities, tapasya, in order to free themselves from these laws that bound every aspect of creation. They understood, yes, life is hard. Yes, life is hard. There are so many factors playing upon us. Social, economic, political, and we know how a small virus also has taken us out. And if you think, oh, life is nice and smooth and easy, you don't know. It is struggle, it is suffering. It's constant pain. Right down from the micro level where all these germs, they affect you, to the macro level, to everything that's there around. It affects human existence on earth. And then we have these joys and sorrows and pains and pleasures. They also, they are not only expressed by the human minds, not only human minds, we shouldn't be selfish about human minds. If grace is available to everyone, it also means grace is available to all living creatures. We have this tendency of isolating ourselves from the rest of creation. Everything affects every other thing. So in this hard life that we are trying to hew our way through, adamantine difficulties and obstacles, we are fortified with this grace. So though we have these binding laws, yet there is a way out. The other factors is, Swami Vivekananda says, and I'll quote him, "A few steps there arises a wall of beginningless and endless time, which we cannot surmount. A few steps and there appears a wall of boundless space, which we cannot surmount. And the whole is bound up by the walls of cause and effect." So this time, space and causation, desh, kal, nimitta, binds each and every aspect of creation. Human beings, material, matter, everything. These are the universal laws. And Swamiji says, we cannot go beyond them, yet we struggle and still have to struggle. And this is Maya. So we have another binding factor, and that is Swabhava. Swabhava is translated as inherent nature, like the nature of fire and the nature of water and the nature of breeze. There's an inherent quality, the intrinsic quality to each and everything. This rules everything. On the individual level, we say that person's swabhava is good, that person's character is good. How did that person's swabhava character develop? Through karma, through a load of karma that you have performed. That has a direct effect on what you say, what you think, and what you do. So swabhava and time, space, and causation, or desh, kal, nimitta, and niyati. These are the binding factors of existence. Now, given these circumstances, what do we do? Where do we turn to? And people have been praying and praying and praying for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Because bondage is acutely felt. So we turn to grace. Now, according to the Encyclopedia of Religions, the biblical and Christian theology of grace means divine favor to sinful people. God's unrestrained kindness interposed in people bereft of strength or hope or salvation and grants them their needs. It is not of merit earned. The sole condition for grace is faith, etc. But when you come down to the other parts of the doctrine, in every religion speaks about God as kind, compassionate, loving, unselfish. All these qualities Why? If you have these qualities, obviously, you can't alienate yourself from your creation. God cannot isolate himself and say, I have nothing to do with this creation. It's not possible. So here we have the qualities of God directly involved in his creation. Because love means union. It does not mean isolation. Kindness and compassion, it is a dynamic process. Grace also changes our lifestyle. We move from this egocentric life to a God-centric life. There is a gradual movement. And if you are moving in that direction, that is a result of grace. We have in the Bhagavad Gita, these worlds will be destroyed if I do not work. God says, Utsideiru me loke na kuryam chedaham. So God is active in this world through grace. Because even in the Bible it said that ever active providence who notes even the sparrows fall. Amazing. If it wasn't, then that God would have been kind of useless to be prayed to be worshipped. Grace also slowly eradicates your idea of free will. You know, we have this idea, free will, and philosophers and psychologists have been discussing free will, humans have free will. No, we don't have. We have a will, of course, it's not free. Grace is free. So this will of ours, when it connects ourselves to the cosmic will or God's will, that is the working of grace. So it comes down to this. Grace is everywhere, but the more selfish you are, the more you will feel its absence. And the more unselfish you are, you will feel its workings in every aspect of your life. You know, the law of karma, it says every action, there is a reaction. Okay. And you get what you have paved the way for, either by a thought, a word, a deed. You know, Swami Vivekananda says you get what you deserve. And this deserving is produced by a karma. Grace is you get more than you deserve, not in the bad sense. As people might misinterpret it. Sri Ramakrishna says you take one step towards God, God takes 10 steps towards you. This is grace. You get more than what you bargained for. You go to a store and say, buy one and get two free. Okay. So the manufacturer and the shopkeeper are very gracious. But actually you paid for it. But in the case of grace, yeah, you take one step and you get 10 steps. Wow, that's great. So grace also is a direct link between our present state, our state of existence, our life, and our final goal. It is gradually orienting your life towards that goal. In retrospect, if you check your own life, you will find certain things you have been kept away from, certain things you were engaged with, even when you didn't want it. You are, as it were, impelled. This is the working of grace in our lives. Every religion has a doctrine of an incarnation. Why? How does it happen? Well, there have been tons and tons of books written on how it happens, but nothing is definite. You can bring 10 arguments against this thing. But when they speak about it is God's compassion that makes that divine embody. So grace is at the heart of the doctrine of an avatar, nothing else. So here we have this idea. Swami Vivekananda also says, only avatars have the power to dispel the darkness of 1 million souls and give them liberation in one life. This is known as grace. The very fact that you have an incarnation of God, it might be a partial incarnation, it might be a full incarnation. We have various types of incarnations, depending on the need of the times. You have Angsha avatar, Avesha avatar, and Khanda avatar, and Purna avatar, and Yuga avatar. It's all avatars, don't worry. They come to fulfill a need. People have been weeping and wailing, some loudly, some in their hearts, for divine grace. Where is God? It is this weeping and wailing, these prayers, that actually bring God down to us. This is an answer to all our tears and our prayers. This is the avatar. And the avatar fulfills those needs. So when grace descends on the person, suppose somebody is a Mr. X or Mrs. X, grace descends on that person. What happens? That person becomes a channel of that divine grace. That person is not selfish. Oh, now I've got divine grace, I'm going to keep myself and not share it. No. That person becomes a channel. All the gurus, all the saints, all the holy men, sadhus, etc. are these recipients of the grace and channels. Now Shankaracharya said, Vasantavat lokahitam charanta. They are like the spring, and they spread all happiness, everything around. They themselves have crossed over the ocean of life and help others cross. Why should I bother about others? Let them struggle a little, let them push and pull a little. No. That grace makes them compassionate. If that person does not become compassionate, then it's not grace. Then it's simple, it's trying to deceive people. So Swami Vivekananda says, he who has realized the Atman becomes a storehouse of great power, making that person the center with a certain radius of a circle. Whoever comes within that circle becomes animated with the power of such a soul. So that's the reason why in India you're saying, oh, you must do sadhu sang, association with sadhus. And the sadhus, we were drilled into it. And sadhus will talk about all things, mundane things, spiritual things and everything. Sometimes you get so bored, but you just be around. Swami Vivekananda says, even the jokes of such a person are impregnated with that person's purity and spirituality, and they transform you inside. So this is how grace works in our lives. Now, we are all searching for grace in temples and churches and mosques and synagogues here, there, with people here, there. Like in your own hearts also. Yeah, it's there here. If you don't feel it here, you won't feel it anywhere outside. Shri Ramakrishna says, even the prayers and japa that you do, even taking God's name, depends on His grace. The seeking for religion, the seeking for spirituality means grace has touched you. Otherwise, it's not possible. There are so many nice people around, but it animates one's search for the divine. So, we have Swami Vivekananda also speaking about this, that the Gita also says, the laborers are many, few, this is like, many are called but few are chosen, as they say. Bahunam janmanam ante, out of thousands and thousands, some people decide to seek me. So this seeking to understand ourselves and the nature of God is also grace. Now, when we seek this grace in our lives, it actually frees you. It does not destroy you. It keeps you and starts freeing you. This is divine grace. That presence is comforting. That presence is a kind of a, security. You feel free in that. So it raises us to its highest point. This grace. Grace, of course, you kind of look around and you don't see anything which is connected with grace. It's all mammon. It's all materialism. It's all selfishness. It's all crookedness. It's all lies. And you wonder, where is this divine grace blowing all the time? You wonder. You see around, what's this? But then you check in your own heart. Look closely. And in this closer look, you will find that you have been struggling and struggling and struggling against innumerable obstacles. This struggle is the key to understanding grace. This is the key. If you don't struggle, well, you don't need to struggle, okay then. But if you do struggle, and we all struggle, this is grace. So you will have to relate yourself not to what you see around. You through your struggles, you connect, you relate to God through your struggles. This is the idea. And it's a grace is unconditional. Yes, the example is given, many examples. One of the examples, even Sri Ramakrishna says, well, the sun shines on everybody. The rain falls on every. But the land that's tilled brings out a bumper harvest. And land which is fallow, which is untilled, does not reap the benefits of that grace. The Kathopanishad and also the Mundakopanishad says, this Atman cannot be known through much study of the scriptures, nor through the intellect, nor through much hearing of the scriptures. It can be known through the self alone. It can be known through the Atman alone, that the aspirant prays to. This self of that seeker reveals its true nature. Nayam atma pravachanena labhya na medaya na bahuna shrutena yame vaisha vrinute tena labhya tasaisha atma vivrinute tanusva. This is a very important verse, because this idea of Advaita as you need to personally struggle, and it relies mainly on self-effort. It's called Purushakara. No, Advaita also has room for grace. So, when an Advaitin prays, when you pray to your own inner self, the Antaratma. And that Antaratma, the inner self, revealed itself to the prayers. It is only through prayers, through seeking, that the inner self reveals itself and becomes gracious. Well, if you replace the word self with the chosen ideal or the Ishta, it means the same. If you pray to yourself, that is, you're praying to your own Ishta Devata, your chosen ideal. So when you pray, it is only through prayers, through seeking, that the self is revealed to you. It does not depend on all your learning and all your wealth and all your name and fame, nothing. It depends on your seeking, your praying. So that's why, whom do you pray to? You pray to your real self. Swami Vivekananda says that there is a repository of infinite power there within you. Awaken yourself. It's everything, saying, until the sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity. Swami Vivekananda says, power will come, glory will come, goodness will come, all that is excellent will come when this sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity. And it can be roused through prayers. And that self becomes gracious and reveals itself. Tanum swam, it reveals its forms to that seeker. It's a tremendous, you can say, verse. Like we have the word grace. Yeah, grace. Oh. Very strangely, there is no unambiguous word in Sanskrit for grace. Grace, this is grace. We have multiple words. These guys, they thought about everything. They try to explain grace in all its shades. So you have kripa. It's translated as grace. Yat kripa tamaham vande. By your grace, I worship you for your grace. It's like that. But kripa means pity, compassion. Daya also means compassion. We have also something called Karuna. Karuna also is pity, compassion, and softness, and sympathy and empathy. We have anugraha. This is a little getting closer to the bullseye. Favor, blessedness. And then we have anukampa. Oh, anukampa. That is God's favor, dispensation, His compassion, His love for you. And then we have something called, this much closer, prasada. It is aid, mediation, kindness, favor, and grace. So it covers all possible grounds. It does not leave any loopholes. Everywhere it's plugged in. Why was that? You see, whether you believe in a personal God, personal God sitting somewhere there, or someone says it's not there, it's actually there. It's not there, but somewhere else. So in Vedanta, in Hinduism, it's God is immanent and transcendental. That's why he says, Tesham eva anukamparta aham ajnana jamtama nashayam atma bhavastu jnana deepena bhasvarai. He says, out of compassion for them alone, I, God that is, residing in their hearts, destroy the darkness born of ignorance with the luminous lamp of knowledge. There, God is there, seated in the hearts of all beings. And God is destroying the darkness of ignorance with that lamp of knowledge. Here it is. This is Teshameva anukampa. Out of this compassion, out of grace. Like I said, it's free. Yeah. And God is also free. We are bound. God is free. And it's grace that makes us free. No, there was a military barracks near Dakshineshwar, and there were these Sikh soldiers, Punjabi soldiers. One of them was Kaur Singh. He was a platoon leader, and he says, God is compassionate. So Shri Ramakrishna says, why is compassionate? Why? He is looking after all of us, you see. So Shri Ramakrishna, is that to be wondered at? If you have somebody at home, will the neighbors look after you? You've got to look after yourself. This whole creation belongs to God. He's going to look after it. What's so great about compassion? His creation, He's going to look after it. It looks after this creation. And is, like I said, love is union, not alienation. God is completely united with His creation, with His creatures. So now once you're saying, oh, definitely now, after listening to all this thing, yeah, I am the recipient of the grace. And there's no doubt. There's so many points. 50% at least I'm eligible for this. Yeah. So, grace means it comes through love and compassion and kindness and unselfishness. These are the qualities of grace, God's qualities. And when grace descends on you, those qualities manifest through you. The person on whom grace has descended becomes kind and loving and compassionate and unselfish and empathic. Yes. Otherwise, there's something wrong with that grace that we are proclaiming to the whole world. What's the recipient of grace? Yeah, maybe a little, maybe a lot, maybe. This is the test. This is the grace in human lives. It is a direct role. God's qualities are reflected in a person. And then that's a surest sign this person is the recipient of God's grace. So what happens? So you become honest and truthful and all these things. People interact with you, you can understand that. Then subjectively, you become free. You feel secure, like I said. There is no more fear of uncertainty, even of death. That inner sense of liberation comes first before the actual liberation, moksha. If you feel it like that, you are experiencing grace in your lives. This is the role of grace. On a still higher level, that person on whom grace abounds, that person, he becomes a kind of a natural, Grace plays with that person plays with grace. Everything that person does and says and talks smacks of grace. These are the people the world is blessed through them. And the world is never bereft of such people. So this play, it is a leela of grace. God plays through such people. So when we look at our lives, okay, now we understand, this is grace. We understand grace now as something, as part of our nature. In the mature development of this Ajivika philosophy, like I mentioned earlier, that this niyati, this rigid cosmic laws that govern everything, matter, mind, spirit, and everything, and time, space, and causation, and swabhava, nature, and all these things. They said that all these are merely on the surface of things. In the heart of things, there is freedom. So all these rigid laws of bondage that the world is in, one feels that this is nothing but an outer manifestation of God. The inner manifestation of that God, that grace, is freedom. So here we come. God and God's grace are not two separate things. The breeze of grace is constantly blowing. Oh, really? I say, okay. It's better to say God is constantly blowing, but we don't like to see God being blown about all over the place. We have Vayu Devata in India who keeps on constantly blowing. God and grace are not two separate things. When you feel grace, you feel God. When you feel God, you feel grace. This is what it is. So then you will say, okay, what is the secret of life we had started? Or what is the mystery of life and all these things? This, grace. This is the mystery and secret and everything, the goal of life, grace. So after all this kind of philosophy and this and that, is there a form for grace? we like to see this as a form and this as a form, a tangible thing. Oh, yes. When God descends, He comes, He and or she, He, she, it, all that comes with a specific form suited for this age. Sri Ramakrishna says, in time, this will be worshipped in every home. And at times he said, I will eat through thousands and thousands of mouths, when he couldn't eat because he was struck with that disease of cancer in the throat. I'll eat through. So what's the form of grace? This is the form of grace. Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swamiji, this is the form of grace. You want grace? It's free, of course. You get Sri Ramakrishna, you get Holy Mother, you get Swamiji also. Don't worry. You get Swamiji, you get the other two also. Buy one, get two free. These are the tangible forms of grace. Here we can approach. And when we approach them, slowly, like Sri Ramakrishna, Naham, tu, not I, but thou. All that I was speaking about, deliberating about, enumerating all these things, will come in a kind of revelation to you. One after another, it will open up. This is a form of grace. Where is the form? Here, outside, inside. If you pray as the Kathopanishad, Yame Vaishya Vrinute Tena Labhyas, that self revealed itself to that seeker. And it is Sri Ramakrishna who reveals himself to us in our hearts. Tesham eva anukam. To them, out of compassion, I destroy the darkness of ignorance through the lamp of knowledge. So this is how Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, and all of us are also forms of that grace. Yes, we are also forms of the grace. And we see that our connection with that, this divine form. Holy Mother and Golapma, one time over there in Benares. So one devotee comes and she had heard about Holy Mother. No, yeah, come on. We want to do. So Golapma was like, nice and big and fair and stout, and she had a stentorian voice and she looked very impressive. So that devotee goes and tries to make pranams to Golapma. Golapma points out, that is Mother. Mother was sitting down. So that devotee goes to Mother. Mother also is in a playful mood. She points out. And she comes again. Golapma again points out it. There. She again goes to Mother. Mother again. After a couple of times, Golapma, she was angry. Can't you see can't you make that out, the difference between a human face and a divine face? Look at my face. This is a human face and that is a divine face. So if we look closely, you will see Mother's divinity beyond that form of grace that she has brought. She is that form of grace. It's difficult to recognize her. And she will push you away a couple of times. She'll push you away. No, you go there. You persist. Yeah. She'll open the doors to liberation. Kripam kuru mahadevi suteshu pranateshu cha charanashraya danena kripam mai namostute. So here, Holy Mother is. We are her children. We have taken refuge at her feet. Oh, compassionate one, we salute you again. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Announcements. Next Sunday, Swami Vedarupananda will speak on religion is realization. We have on Tuesdays, of course, Swami Sarvadevananda's talks on Narada's Way of Divine Love at 4:30 p.m. and Nectar of Supreme Knowledge at 7:30 p.m. Wednesdays, 10 a.m., meditation classes, theory and guided, by Swami Satyamayananda. Wednesdays also evening, Swami Satyamayananda will do the gospel readings. Thursdays, Swami Satyamayananda will give a class on the Bhagavad Gita. Fridays, Swami Atma Tattvananda and Swami, one who played our organ. Yeah. Living Wisdom of Swami Abhedananda. Sundays we have 9 to 10:35 p.m. Sanskrit class, Sukirta Alagar Swami. Sundays, Spanish scripture class, Swami Dhyana Yogananda at 2:30 p.m. And on the 7th of February, next month, we have Swami Vivekananda's birthday celebrated. The actual birthday falls on 4th Feb. We celebrate it on Sundays, so it's the 7th. Do you have any questions? Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.